Boom, here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Whole City High Podcast. This is Best Bets of College Football Week 9. We're halfway through, well, more than halfway through college football season. Today I'm joined by, once again, your boy Matt and Ryan, Mr. Davies. Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Doing well.
You're
Finally
doing
on a
better
winning
when I
track.
get wins on.
Thanks for joining the Whole City High Podcast, guys. We're streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube today. So if you're following us on one of those streams, please like and subscribe. We come out here every Thursday, between 6:15ish. And I'm on Black People time. So you never know exactly when we're going to actually kick it off. It's vibes, man. Vibes. And the vibes were not immaculate last week, at least not for me. We're going to review Week 8. Jacob's not here with us tonight, but I do have his picks for the future. But we're going to kind of review Week 8 slate, 13 games. Two of us were below 500. One of us was way below 500. And two of us broke it. Jacob and Ryan both going 7-6, taking the lead this week from last week. Matt top for second or third, I guess technically. 5-8 week. Then your boy holding down the bottom, 1-12 record. That could have been easily 0-13 if Florida State did pull out the last 10 points. Yes, let's go over the games right quick. Starting with the first game, James Madison Marshall. That was a win for Matt and Jacob. Outright for JMU. The over did not cash for me or Ryan. Georgia State, Louisiana. That's an outright win for Georgia State for Matt and Jacob. The under hit of 63.5 for Ryan. The over did not hit for me. Minnesota and Iowa should have covered. Got them refs. But we all took an L on that with our covering. Jacob took the over at 31.5, which was bold. I think it was 22 that game. Penn State, Ohio State. That's a win for Matt and Jacob. Actually, look at me. See? First mistake already.
Well, Jacob won last week, I guess.
Yeah. So
all right, better fix that.
What's that? 8-5.
Damn, he's got a better record than me now.
Nobody tell him.
I ain't gonna tell him. I'm gonna figure out. There you go. Ohio State taking Penn State down. That's 2 wins for Matt and Jacob. Me and Ryan took that out with the Penn State. Air Force Navy. I'm never going to choose against Air Force again. I apologize. Navy didn't cover the 10.5. Jacob took Air Force 10.5. The over 34.5 for Matt and Ryan did not cover. Washington State, Oregon State. No, Washington State and Oregon. Oregon didn't cover the 18.5. That's an L across the board. Tennessee, Alabama. The over for Ryan hit at 49. Jacob and myself took the loss of Tennessee covering. Matt lost on under 49. South Carolina, Missouri. Ryan and Jacob the wins of Missouri covering -7. South Carolina money line for Matt didn't go. The over of 16.5 didn't go for me. Oklahoma State and West Virginia. West Virginia took the loss. A win for Jacob once again with Oklahoma State outright.
Damn you, Neil Brown.
That was a nice win on that over for Jacob.
Yeah, right.
Money line, I mean. That would have been a nice win if you put money on that.
Put money on, man. Plus 145. Can't beat that. Ole Miss, Auburn. Outright win for Ole Miss in the cover with Matt and Jacob of 6.5. Under 55 for Ryan. Hit the over for me. Did not hit once again. Florida State and Duke. A win across the board for everybody. 14.5. My only win of the whole week. So shout out to the nose. Having my back. At least somebody have my back. Utah, USC. USC didn't cover. Actually,
win.
Lost for them. The over at 54.5. Who would thought be Utah put 30 points in the game? So,
I did.
Then the finale of Clemson Miami. That's losses for me, Matt, and Jacob with Clemson -3. Miami covered with the under of 48.5. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts of week 8?
Over under saved my butt, that's for sure.
The over did not save my butt. God, like that was I mean, truthfully, I definitely would have took Ohio State. I don't know. Penn State never shows up in these big games.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
Learn my lesson, Penn State. You gotta prove it to me.
Now,
See if
what
you
was
can
that?
take
That thanks Franklin
He's what?
15 against Michigan and Ohio State.
No, he has one win. Oh, is he on?
I think he's 0-15.
Oh, it's 15. God. Yeah, because I think Penn State only won one game in the last 20 years against Ohio State.
Oof,
That's rough, man.
that's rough.
That's rough.
Rough. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Right. Since Jacob's not here, I'll let you give your frustrations with the Clemson Miami game, if you have any.
Well called match.
Is that enough
was
silence? Let me take one from Josh Heupel there. Is that enough silence?
My only regret is that it couldn't have ended in nobody winning.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know anymore what our offense is doing. They had 5 plays after with 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left in the third quarter. They ran 10 plays. Defense is out there way too long. You get gassed. Yeah, it's easy to run the ball at the middle, and the defense is sucking air on the D line. So not mad at them. Offense has got to do anything. They got to find a pulse. Right now, I don't know. That whole offense, the whole offensive staff, just doesn't look very good. With the you got your running backs yelling at your running back coach on the sideline, having a hissy fit when he gets taken out, and Shipley. Quarterback's not listening to the play calls and runs his own play to end the game.
And Dabo wasn't too happy about that with the suicide watch comment.
No, and then I'm not worried about that. Nope, everybody's soft now.
Yeah, it wasn't really that big of a deal to me.
No, people make everything a bigger deal than it really is. Should he have said it? No, probably not in today's time. But
yeah,
no, it's a circus right now. I guess I'll say for younger ears. It's rough. They got to make some changes, and I don't know if they'll do it right now. But I said they wouldn't change offensive coordinators, and they did. So we'll see if Dabo finally gives up the offense. So
I like this new direction for Clemson.
Yeah,
really enjoying it.
It'll be back at it next year. It'll be okay when you lose everybody.
I don't know. Tate Rodemaker, man. Tate Rodemaker's going to be
Yeah,
the truth next year. Take us right back to the playoffs.
yeah. I've heard that before. Like y'all had how many good years and didn't have an offensive line or a defense, and we'll see.
Yeah, they got some things figured out, at least on the offense. So I'm gonna get a little more on Clemson when we talk about the upcoming game with NC State. Addition to that, Florida State Duke. I guess I'll give a quick review of that. Ryan, you can jump in on your thoughts.
Man, going into halftime down, everybody's got Florida State on upset alert. Norvell just came out, changed up the offensive scheme. Duke couldn't keep up with the passing game in the second half. And then once the front seven opened up, ran the ball down their throats. It was beautiful. Couldn't ask for a better playbook.
My thoughts.
You could. It was Nick, happy that people are injured.
I wasn't happy. I was just saying.
You literally said, "I'm happy."
He wasn't that. He wasn't that.
Yeah, come on. Right. Everybody loves Riley Leonard. We got to be kind to that guy.
Yeah, we like that dude. My quick thoughts. Even though, first of all, shame on Duke. That's kind of like, to me, looking out for the player when the player's not looking out for himself. I mean, the man was clearly hurt. That is a different team when he's not able to run. He couldn't run. He didn't even get hurt. Like he fell on his ankle wrong when he was getting pressured. is how he essentially got out and just retweaked it or re-aggravated it. But clearly the backup they had wasn't ready for the moment, so I guess they really have too many options with that. But it's a shame. Honestly, Duke did put some pressure. I think the game kind of flipped the script when that kick return by Duke Span. That took the energy. Second half defense played good. Going to this, God, dude, I've never been in a Facebook group in my life that hates Florida State the way this all we talk college football group does. But yeah, like, dude, they post like at least 10 times a day, just trying to trash the nose. But sometimes you just hate it because you ain't us. But with this Florida State team, look, before the season, used to tell some of our fans that I'm still not a fan of Adam Fuller. I do understand that we have a couple dogs on our defense, but overall, we're just not at like a elite level at every position. We just have a couple players that can make plays. Hopefully, no one gets hurt, obviously. Jared Verse, this is a little bit of a call out to you, though. So far in the season, 2.5 sacks, third on the team, top 5 pick potential. You got to do better than that, man. I need you to be a game changer, and I haven't seen a game yet where it's been a consistent, like, we need to double this guy. So that's a little bit of a call out for him. Offensively, Jordan Travis was pretty efficient in the game. I think Duke just couldn't match up the receivers eventually. Actually, Jaheim Bell was kind of the difference makers, at least on offense, but Duke did a pretty good job for the most part, keeping Keon Coleman kind of locked up a little bit. He had a couple catches late. John Wilson got hurt a little bit, but he actually didn't drop the ball a lot, so I'm good for him. A quick skill on the other games. Big win for, like I said, Ohio State. That game was pretty defensive game. I feel bad for Penn State's defense, honestly. Penn State, to me right now, is this. Matt's gonna love this term. It's what we call Clemsoning back in the day, where you're not able to get over the hump. I think Penn State's Achilles heel right now is Michigan and Ohio State. Penn State's defense is really good with me and Diaz calling it, but the offense, man, it's going to have or need to step up to be able to make the next step. You have no more shot against Michigan. Minnesota, Iowa. If you haven't heard, Iowa had a punt return that went for a touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game. It was called back because it was deemed he attempted a fair catch. But if you look from this replay view of kind of like the back field goal, and it wasn't nowhere close to a fair catch. It was just kind of like telling his teammates to get out of the way.
I didn't see that. I missed that.
Yeah, so it was like, because initially I could see what they were talking about. Then once you saw it from another angle, it was like, oh, nah, that wasn't. Like, it was waving to his side, not above his head. So it was just kind of a bad call, honestly.
Well, one thing I think we should point out is that when Penn State brought this, I can't remember his name right now, quarterback in, first 5-star quarterback prospect they'd had in a while. He's supposed to be the changer for the offense, to get them over those big games, and he hasn't been able to produce in any of them yet as a starter. So wondering if we'll see it at all. He's got 1 year of eligibility left, I think, next year. Maybe he can pull up a win against a top 10 team for once before he gets out of there.
Yeah, I think some of that is also just really outside of their 5-star quarterback. They really don't have a difference maker on their offense.
No, they don't really have a great wide receiver core and not much of a running back, but the unit works as a whole. But like when you go against those elite teams, I don't think they have a difference maker. At least we haven't seen it yet. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 11 catches for 140 yards in the first half.
Yeah. Living up to the billing, man.
Yikes.
Living up to the billing. But outside that, guys, we're gonna be done with week 8. At least I'm ready to be done with week 8.
Yeah, let's move on.
We're gonna move forward and progress. We get ready for the week 9 slate. Put a line for Matt so you can see who the favorites are. Didn't do the over under because I really feel like typing, so you can see it as it comes up. Figure out what your vibes are with that. But we're gonna start with tonight's game. That's about to happen in an hour, or if it starts at 7, I'm not sure. We got a big Georgia battle. Georgia State traveling down to Statesboro to go take Georgia Southern. It's pretty much just a pick 'em with Georgia Southern being a 1-point favorite. Over under this is 63.5. Money line for Georgia State is plus 100. Ryan, let's start things off. What's your thoughts on this rivalry game?
All right, we got our weekly FBS, or not FBS, non-power 5 game. I like Georgia State to win this, mostly just because of the quarterback duel. What are you doing? Sorry, got an animal going crazy in here. Darren Granger, the quarterback for Georgia State, he doesn't turn the ball over. Like, he just doesn't do it. Meanwhile, Georgia Southern, they're often lucky to pull off wins because they've lost the turnover battle a few times. I don't think with a team that's been as well coached this year as Georgia State that the Eagles are going to get away with that. So I want to take Georgia State to win this outright this week.
All right. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Ryan there. Granger, protects the ball. He has 2 picks this season with 10 touchdowns. Georgia Southern's quarterback, Bren, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks. Kind of a big number there. Through, I think they played 7 games, so he's averaging 1.5 a game. I just think Georgia State finds a way like they have all season, and just takes the money line win there for me.
Woo-hoo. I'm gonna go with you guys too. Even though I know,
Okay,
if you're watching the money, money's going Georgia Southern, so there might be something, one of those things. We can have some inside information.
Did we all take Georgia State, including Jacob?
Yeah.
I want Georgia Southern.
He learned from last week. If Nick picked it, go the opposite way.
Go the opposite.
We ain't doing all that. Somebody's got to be different. So now I'm going to take him because Bren has 2,100 yards, and Granger, is averaging 200 yards passing. He turns over the ball, but there's no risk it for the biscuit for him, whereas Bren will risk it for the biscuit.
Hey, Matt, you want to go?
I like how you turn that negative into a positive.
Real quick.
I mean, I was all Georgia State. Then I had to, flip it really quick. They're at home.
Yeah, we're not stuck in that again.
No, absolutely not. We'll all lose. Just helping Nick get a win with me taking a loss. It's okay.
Oh, man. Appreciate the lookout. We're going to our next game. Going to the Big 12 matchup. Number 6, Oklahoma Sooners. A little bit of a scare last week against UCF. Taking on Kansas Jayhawks. No Jaden Daniels. Again, man has old man has back problems. Over under this is 65. Money line for Kansas is plus 300. Matt, let's start with this one. What's your thoughts on the Jayhawks and Sooners?
There's nothing wrong with a quarterback for Kansas. No, he's no Jalen Daniels. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he is. Oklahoma gave me a huge scare last week, holding off UCF. I think they kind of rode that high from Texas 2 weeks before, and it doesn't look like they practiced in between those 2 games because Texas, looked great. UCF, they didn't. I think they bounced back here without Jalen Daniels at quarterback. So I think Dylan Gabriel and Brent Venables get that cover.
Oh, go ahead now.
Wrong line. You gotta go up the line, buddy.
Oh shit.
One job, Nick. One job.
A lot of people are saying this is going to be a trap game. Oklahoma's got Oklahoma State next week, but like Matt pointed out, no Jalen Daniels. I do like the way that backup quarterback for Kansas has been playing lately. No, he couldn't pull off the win against Oklahoma State last week, but he's still been playing pretty solid. Seeing as Jalen Daniels won't be playing and Oklahoma probably is looking ahead to Oklahoma State next week, I'm gonna take the over on this one.
Over 65. Let's go with it. All right. Nothing vibes, no research here. Give me Kansas.
That's how we went 1-12 last week, folks.
Your start. You get Kansas to cover. Plus
He
9.
believes in Jason Bean.
Jason Bean, dog. Let's go with it. I know Kansas got dogged by Texas. I don't think Oklahoma has that level of talent on the outside to do the same thing to Kansas, what Texas did to Kansas. So I think this will be a lot closer game. And UCF kind of did expose Oklahoma a lot last week. If you were watching that game, it was like Oklahoma didn't have an answer for UCF. UCF just dropped a 2-point conversion. And stuff. So I'm gonna go with Kansas. Not gonna think they're gonna win outright, but I think they keep it close. I think 7. This should be more closer than what it should be. Vibes, baby, vibes. Speaking of UCF, big game. West Virginia traveling down to Orlando to take on the Knights. UCF is a 7-point favorite. Over under in this is 58.5. West Virginia money line is plus 225. I'm gonna let Matt start off this because the fight Neil Brown's out here took a loss last week. So we'll see how they recover.
They took a loss last week against Oklahoma State. Lost on the last minute touchdown to Houston before. Has Neil Brown's seat started to warm back up again? Maybe. UCF lost their last 4 in a row. Kind of blows your mind. They haven't won since September 16th against Villanova. Yet they're still favored here against West Virginia at home. And the reason why is the offense. 500 yards a game on average. Give me UCF to cover. Neil Brown's done me wrong the last 2 weeks. I'm sick of him. He'll cover this week just because I didn't take him, and he'll take that personally as he listens to this podcast. I know because he didn't tweet me at all. So
X you. He didn't X you.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
Right.
So if he sends me, what is he? You can send a tweet on Twitter, but what do you send on X?
An X.
But that's what it's on.
I think that's what they're called.
Post.
Maybe they still call them tweets. I don't know.
Well, you were judging me. You were telling me I was wrong. You gotta have the answer if you're going to tell me I'm wrong.
This is just running with it.
That's the truth on that one. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this game?
Well, I feel like this is a pretty even matchup, except when it comes down to one aspect, and that's the run game. West Virginia's probably worst part of their usually stout defense this year has been their run defense. They've let teams run all over them. Even Houston, who's not typically a run team this year, has put up a lot of rushing yards against them. UCF runs about 200-plus yards a game. They have 2 really good running backs in the backfield. And I just think that they're gonna show up. I think they built some confidence off of Oklahoma, challenged them last week. So I want to take UCF to cover.
Let's go. Yeah, West Virginia burned me last week. Kind of, I don't want to say I'm jumping off the bandwagon, but I'm looking out. I was like, see if I can hop at the next train station or stop. But I'm gonna go with WVU to cover once again. Damn, I cannot type tonight. There we go. I'm gonna go West Virginia to cover. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm gonna go with UCF. Actually.
Oh God, we're all doomed.
I go with UCF, man.
I guess
Jacob's winning this one.
Brown to cover.
Huh?
Just kidding. Just joking.
You sure? You?
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna go with UCF, man. I'm gonna go with the vibes. I think Gus is gonna have something for that West Virginia defense, and the defense hasn't been as consistent as it initially was, just due to injuries. Kind of piling up on the Mountaineers. It's kind of a big win though, because I think if they want to kind of get the bowl eligibility, this is kind of a big one for them, for both teams actually. But we're gonna keep it moving.
Hey, before we switch, did everybody else get that FBI is now investigating Michigan update just now?
No.
Yeah, I did not see that.
Yeah, Michigan police and the FBI partnered to investigate alleged computer crimes by former offensive coordinator Matt Weiss.
Oh,
So
Big Ten.
a lot going on up there in Michigan right now.
yeah.
Michigan, freaking Northwestern, Michigan State,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Man,
Everybody in the Big Ten's in trouble.
they wilding, man. I don't
That's
know.
why they're buying all these teams. They're trying to distract us.
Right. We're moved to a big ACC matchup. North Carolina coming off a head scratcher last week with a loss to Pitt. They're traveling down to the ATL to take on the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. North Carolina's 11-point favorite in this one. Over under is 64. Georgia Tech is a plus 335 money line. Ryan, let's start for this one. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, first of all, UNC, like you said, dropped the game that nobody expected them to last week. One of the, let's be honest, worst teams in Division I football against Virginia. Was it at Virginia or was it at North Carolina?
It was at
North Carolina.
It was at North Carolina. Oh,
Yeah.
That makes it so much worse. But they should see a bounce back, at least in the win column. Georgia Tech only has wins against teams that have not been able to put up solid offensive numbers. The only reason they beat Miami was because Van Dyne got hurt during that game, and Miami wasn't able to finish the comeback. I expect North Carolina to bounce back and Drake May to have a field day on that Georgia Tech defense. So I'm going to go ahead and take the over on North Carolina, Georgia Tech. Because King still can put up the ball, but I don't see Georgia Tech pulling off another upset on North Carolina 2 weeks in a row.
All right. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, Ryan mentioned Georgia Tech's defense. They're bad. They're averaging and giving up 450 yards a game, and they do it very well. You know, they give up 225 yards passing and then 227 yards rushing. I don't think I've ever seen such a balanced defense on being that bad. North Carolina, they're going to throw the ball. That's what they're known for. We got Drake May, who's a top 5 pick. It's obvious they're going to throw the ball. Last week, I have no idea how that game was even that close with Virginia, who didn't even look like they've had a pulse this season. But good for them. Good for Virginia to get that. I'm happy that they didn't go, get shut out the entire season in the ACC. But yeah, Georgia Tech, they're doing better. They're getting there. I think this offense could be very good in another year or so when they try to build up that program back to what it should have been after, 15 years of running the triple option. But I just think this is it. I think, Drake May has his way and they cover.
Now, I will say, I think Georgia Tech's future is looking good. Brand new coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got people excited about the future of Georgia Tech. Really, ever since Paul Johnson left, there's been a big question mark as to what's going to happen with that team. So, I'll give them at least that. They got something to look forward to next year.
Yeah, when your identity is at triple option for however long PJ was there, I mean, that's all they knew. And, trying to get recruits, to run that triple option was miserable. You got guys that are fast, but now they're actually getting some transfers in from like Texas A&M with King and Hayes, and I'll be interested to see what they do in the next couple of years.
Agreed. I think Georgia Tech, a lot of people just view it from an outside perspective and look at it. It's kind of could be like a little bit of a diamond in the rough. If they can get the NIL right, throw actually serious money at their athletics program. I mean, you're in the middle of Atlanta. You see how Georgia recruits Georgia itself in addition to Florida. I'm not saying they can ever get to that elite level, but I think they can, to get to maybe 8 or 9 wins consistently, they can definitely throw some money to recruits to get them in. But as far as this game, I'll probably go with over 64 along with Ryan for the vibes. I know Drake May is definitely in top 5, if not top 3 pick. A lot of people over the last couple of days have talked about maybe him going number 1 now due to how Caleb Williams has been looking the last couple of weeks. He has his number 1 wide receiver, so I think they're going to put some points up. I just don't trust their defense to cover 11 points. I mean, North Carolina lost to Virginia at home, and there's no reason why that should have happened. Like North Carolina, you're kind of like putting you in the group with Penn State. Like hype yourself up, then when the moment shines, you somehow screw it up.
To North Carolina's defense, they never hyped up that defense.
I mean,
it's all been about Drake May. Let's be honest. They know what they got. They know who they are.
Yeah. Well, even with Sam Howell, I mean, it's kind of like the same consistent, But
worst offensive or defensive coordinator that somehow has a job every year.
Right. It's that Natty, man. Natty got him. Got some
like Jimbo, lifetime deal somewhere.
Right. Oh man. Jimbo, man. You should just stay in Tally. Actually, I'm glad you left though. So.
Yeah. Don't wish that on us.
I'm glad you left. Jacob also had North Carolina to cover -11. Back to the West Virginia game, he took WVU to cover, and then Oklahoma he took to cover against Kansas. Moving forward, another ACC matchup. Florida State is traveling to Winston-Salem to take on the Demon Deacons. Florida State is a 20-point favorite in this game. Over under is 50.5. Money line for Wake is plus 840. Matt, your third favorite team. What's your thoughts?
Third favorite team, Wake Forest here. I really think they have nothing on offense and not a whole lot on defense. Same to be said for Florida State. Just kidding. Had to throw that in. 20.5 is a lot of points. And I think the over 50, is it 50.5? I thought
it was 53 and then it dropped. And I think a lot of that's dropping because of they uncertain who's going to go at quarterback for Wake Forest.
I have it at 52 right now. But that's I don't know, 20.5.
I'll give you 52.
No.
Let me look currently see what's the active list.
Well, that's what it is on ESPN per Caesars.
For Caesars?
Okay. Yeah, but I think I'm going to take Florida State to cover. I think 20.5 is a lot. Wake Forest hasn't really impressed me. They're another team whose defense is not looking great this season. Offense, the mesh point's always interesting, kind of like Nick moving our screens around while we're talking. That's always interesting. So I think Florida State finds a way to cover and keeps their season rolling.
Oh, there we go.
Are we back? Okay.
All right.
Caesar by the time he's done.
Right. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, for whatever reason, ESPN's calling this the upset alert of the week, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like you said, Wake Forest doesn't even really know who they're starting a quarterback yet. I don't know how you're expecting a team who doesn't know who's going to start to upset the number one team in the conference. What I will say is I feel confident in Florida State's ability to win this game because Wake Forest has a terrible habit this year of turning the ball over in the worst possible situation. Whenever they do have an opportunity to win a game, it seems like Griffiths or somebody on special teams ends up fumbling the ball away or making a turnover in a crucial situation. And Florida State's been real key on focusing in on those and making those work to their to their advantage. They did it against LSU. They did it last week against Duke. And nobody since Boston College has scored more than 7 points on Florida State. So I'm feeling pretty confident this week, but I'm going to take the over again. If we're sitting at 50.5, I'm going to take the over on this game because we're here to win money.
Nice. I'm going to go with FSU to cover. I don't think whoever you put at quarterback, it's not really going to matter. I just think Wake is just a drop from what it used to be. I think the upset alert comes from FSU just notoriously sucks at 12 o'clock games on the road.
Yeah, we do have a tendency this year to play down to our opponents. So
we look at Boston College. If you look at a few years ago, Lamar Jackson's Heisman moment was a 12 o'clock game in Louisville. They put up 70 on Florida State. I think Norvell is just right now is just going to ride the wave. What scares me for this game, I will say, is that Florida State might get up big early and just go relax mode. And Wake might get like a cheap score in the end or something, kind of make it a little bit closer.
They have pumped the brakes a few times, it seems like, this year, and let opponents come back in games they really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So let's hope that a team has learned from that this year and that we avoid all those mistakes.
Yeah. I was tempted to take the
I'm
over
done
too.
Stressing teams that we should just put away.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the over too because at 50 after 52 even sounds right, but not too sure if how Wake's going to score. I'm pretty sure FSU's at least put 30 up. I think they're 16 or 17 straight games, 30 points or more. Only one right now. But give me some notes. Jacob is in line with me and Matt with FSU covering. Also, we're going to move forward to the SEC. You can't spell second without the SEC. I can find my mouse. There we go.
I like that.
You got the Gamecocks traveling down to College Station to go take on the Aggies. Texas A&M's a 14-point favorite. The over-under is 53.5 in this game. Money line for South Carolina is plus 470. Matt, what you think about your Cox?
Matt mute himself.
You mute yourself, Matt?
Yeah, I did. Nobody. There's nothing better than muting yourself when you're in a meeting as well, and you're just constantly talking. These teams are fairly similar on offense. Carolina's averaging 392. Texas A&M averaging 400 on the nose. They're both about 290 to 270 passing. Carolina's offense has been terrible at rushing the ball, not even at 100 yards on average. Texas A&M 130. Carolina's defense has to find something. They're averaging 450 yards a game, allowing 305 yards passing a game. That's not going to spell any kind of success. Texas A&M's lost their last two, close one to Tennessee, close one to Alabama. Then Arkansas, they handled them. Carolina's lost 3 straight. 2 of them haven't been close. Florida won. They came back and tried to make it look interesting. But per usual, I'm going to take South Carolina money line just because Spencer Rattler and, give me the quarterback with the big arm.
All right. Ryan, thoughts?
So they got Texas A&M as 14-point favorites, but the history of this game since Texas A&M came into the SEC, they played Carolina every year. This is always a close game. I don't think there's been a single blowout in the 12 or so years that these two have played each other, and I don't see that changing again. Both teams have been madly inconsistent. Carolina being up 10 against Florida a few weeks ago and blowing it at the last second. A&M being up on teams like Alabama and Tennessee early before giving it up in the second half. So I say this game's going to be oddly closely contended. I would be surprised if this was like a 16-14 finish, and I'm going to take the under on. I'm going to take the under on this game. But as Matt pointed out, I don't know what South Carolina's defense is doing. How they allow that many points or allow that many yards every week, and even more surprising is they have one of the worst. They're one of the worst teams when giving their opponents field position. So if their opponents are getting good field position, they're still letting 450 yards. What the heck's going on down there?
And they have a really good punter too, so they shouldn't be giving up.
It's not. Yeah, it's not their punter.
Oh, I know.
It's the rest of the special teams' inability to tackle.
Man, that just give me all the information not to choose South Carolina. Um, I guess it's more trust. You think with Jimbo Fisher somehow fuck up clock management somehow in this game, or making like a kind of like
If there's a way, he'll find it.
That's where it kind of comes
he'll
down
leave two
to.
timeouts on before halftime, or something ridiculous.
I'm gonna go with Texas A&M to cover. This line has actually moved up to 15.5. Stuff. I don't know what South Carolina's going on right now, but it's not in a positive light. I know some of his injuries too, and this is also one of the teams that probably hit the hardest with the transfer portal against them. Losing at least 3 of their key players from last year's team, and they just haven't found a way to replace them. I don't think. I love Spencer out of death, but once again, the offensive line is horrible. Texas A&M has one of the better defensive lines in the conference. I think that's just a bad matchup. So give me Texas A&M to cover -14, and I love fight outright. Move forward to the next, going back to the ACC, we got the Clemson Tigers, heading up to Raleigh to take on the Wolfpack. Over under the game is a very low number of 44. Money line is NC State plus 310. Matt, let's just kick us off. Tigers in the Wolfpack.
Under.
What's your thoughts?
Under.
Under 44?
Yep.
And that's all he's got to say about that.
All right.
Next question.
Man, few words. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, the teams have the same record. I think they even have the same ACC record, but they're vastly different teams. The combination of Dorian and Armstrong is not working this year in NC State. They have no running game. Dorian is, in fact, their leading rusher still. And, going back a few weeks, Matt pointed out, I don't trust any team where your quarterback has to be your lead rusher. So one thing if it's a planned offensive scheme, like in the days with Lamar Jackson at Louisville, but when your quarterback has to be your lead rusher, I don't trust that offense. I'm going to take Clemson to win this one in Raleigh this week.
Yeah, that's crazy. Both Clemson boys taking the under, which is kind of a good play because these offenses questionable. Definitely. I'm saying the Clemson fans' frustration from the game last week with.
The bad thing is you say that, but we average more yards per game than South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're at 425 yards a game. Blows my mind. We just can't finish.
Well, yeah, you move the ball. Yeah, it's really the red zone that kills y'all, or just like a crucial turnover in the worst possible time. That's kind of like what it is, especially with fumbles. That's like been fucking horrible. But NC State probably has worse luck.
Really? Clemson leads the nation in fumbles. We're covering like turnover fumbles.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I was going to leave that one away.
Yeah, don't worry. They showed it about every 3 seconds during the Miami game.
But I've watched a couple NC State games this year. They're not a team who capitalizes on turnovers.
I don't have an offense.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I bet you they've probably got less than 16 points off of turnovers this year, over the course of 7 or 8 games, which is ugly. NC State doesn't have offense
at all. They only average 347 yards. I just think Clemson's defense is going to shut them down.
That Clemson defense is still solid. It's still.
That's what sucks about it because
it's still the
elite.
Yeah,
it's elite. Just the offense is putting them in bad spots.
Well, we're definitely seeing what the loss of. Hold on, I'll come up with his name.
Venables
coach. Yeah, Venables is doing down at Clemson this year.
Yeah, I'm here and doing a great job.
I don't think it's as big of a drop off on the defensive side.
I think in turnovers it is. I haven't seen them turn turnovers quite the way they used to.
Well, a lot of that's, Clemson's not getting as many sacks because quarterbacks are getting rid of the ball really quick. Hell, if you watch Miami game, that quarterback they were running. So it's kind of hard to get sacks and stuff when they're just handing the ball off every play or even getting picks. Because I like Nate Wiggins at corner and our secondary is good. But when you're just running the ball, it's you're more likely to throw a pick than I think you are in college than you are going to get fumbles unless you're a Clemson running back or quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Enough said.
We hear that. I'm going to go with Clemson. Go with Tigers to cover. I just think they're going to have to figure something out eventually, especially now you're kind of flirting with bowl eligibility at this point. I don't think they're going to lose, but it's on the road. It's also for NC State. Clemson's been like Achilles heel for them, haven't been them a long time, so they could be pumped up for it. I just don't see it on their offense what they're going to do or challenge against that Clemson's defense. And I think the offense, can at least put up enough points. The under is tempting on this of 44 because I can see
it's supposed to be a rainy day too, boys.
It's supposed to rain.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's supposed to be it's probably like a 24-7 game. If I had to guess it, ballpark it. Yeah, it'd be cool over there too. God, I'm tempted on that under. I'm staying away from it. Also, I got to make up ground after my 1-12.
NC State averages 143 rushing, and Clemson averages giving up 104 on the rush.
Yeah. So,
in a wet game. Hence why the under hit was taken.
You go with it. All right. We're going to go down to Jacksonville. Duval. If I can get the mouse over there. There we go. Number one team in the country, defending national champs, Georgia Bulldogs. 14-point favorites over the Gators. Over under is 48. Money line for Florida is plus 450. Start with the Florida boy. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Well, Georgia's definitely turned some things around on offense. They're looking a lot more like the Georgia from last year, breaking in a new quarterback after losing, or even after losing Brock Bowers first quarter last week. They were still able to move the ball, and I think Georgia definitely is one of the toughest teams around in college football, but this is a huge rivalry game. I don't trust a 14-point spread between these two teams. Even though Florida's been maddeningly inconsistent, I feel like Napier's got a good head for that offense that Florida's been running. If the Florida defense can make a few good plays, I think they keep this game close. Maybe give Georgia a little bit of a scare, which they might need to keep them motivated the rest of the season. I would take Florida to cover.
All right, how about you, Matt?
You look at these defenses for Florida and Georgia. They're not a huge, passing wise, they're pretty similar. Georgia defense doesn't allow 100 yards rushing a game. Florida, that's what they're going to have to rely on, especially with Graham Mertz. He's starting to get a little bit better these last couple of weeks for sure. 14 points is a lot, especially in a rivalry game where it's a in quote mutual field. Brock Bowers was their offense for so long. Yes, they looked okay 2 weeks ago against Vandy, but it's still Vandy. Give me Florida to actually cover these 14, as Georgia has not shown me a full game the entire year. They only play one half.
Kind of the same boat with you guys about this. This is
that doesn't bode well.
in college. It's hard to kind of like do a double-digit point spread in a rivalry game. Also, Georgia is 1-5-1 against the spread this year. 247th in college football as far as like overall rankings. I'm gonna go with UF to cover too. I'm not sure Georgia's offense. It's improved, but is it going to really make a difference? Even though Florida against South Carolina was a win for them, but they didn't really look too crazy impressive with it.
That said, Brock Bowers was the offense, so we get to see Georgia actually face a solid opponent without their top offensive weapon, and that's been their quarterback's go-to guy. He's been a security blanket, so we'll see what he has, who he turns to without his number one option on the field this week.
No safety net for him this week to fall back on. there's no tight end sweeps that they can run without him. Take it, their other tight ends are both 5 stars as well, but there's a difference between a 5-star and a Brock Bowers. It's lining up at tight end or in the slot receiver.
Yeah, the difference between a 5-star and a top 10 prospect.
Definitely. You gotta live up to that 5-star billing. Prove you actually deserve it. We're gonna move forward to the Pac-12 as they kind of tear each other up in that conference right now. Another big matchup: Salt Lake City got number 8 Oregon Ducks over there. Quack Attack taking on the Utes. Oregon's a 6-point favorite. Over under in this game is 47.5. Money line for Utah is plus 210. Matt, what's your thoughts on this Pac-12 pivotal game?
I don't know if Bo Nix is getting enough Heisman love this year. He's at 2,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, only 1 interception. You don't hear his name mentioned as much as Penix or Caleb Williams or Jordan Travis or anybody really, but he's got better numbers than most of those guys. Oregon's defense has stepped up the last couple of years as well, so it won't be quite as easy for Utah to score as it was against Southern Cal. So that was a great win for Utah as they continue to be a thorn in Southern Cal's side, and I love it. But I just think that Oregon's a little bit more complete team and covers the spread.
All right. How about you, Ryan?
I'm right with Matt on this one. Bo Nix not getting the Heisman credit he deserves, although I think he's finally starting to climb up the list a little bit. Penix is still mostly the guy dominating that name, the top of that list right now. But I think the more Oregon gets on national television with these earlier games, these 3:30, 8 o'clock games, more people are going to see what he's capable of. But shoot, man, Utah is just unpredictable. We keep talking, we don't know if they'll win until Cam Rising comes back, but they seem to do it every week. They may have just shut down Caleb Williams for the last time. He never won against Utah his entire college career. So dang, what a difficult game this is going to be. I think it's going to be another good one. I'm gonna take the over here because I think both teams could show up, but we could see one hell of a shocking game, and just like last week, an ending we don't expect. So I can't pick between the two. I'll have to take the over.
Utah's been a pain in the ass to pick for or against. I think kind of if there's like a war for best coaching staff of the year so far, it has to be the Utes, given their circumstances on offense. The defense has been stepping to the plate. They did put up 34 or 32 against SC last week.
34, I think. Yeah,
34. Yeah. It feels nice, but also SC is probably the worst defense in the Pac-12, or at least it's up there. I think against Oregon, I think Oregon is going to show up. I think they just have better players. I know the elevation in Salt Lake City is going to be hype, but I feel like Phil Knight got some type of equipment or something on Oregon's campus to get them ready for that. So I'm going to take Oregon to cover. -6.
Neither one of these teams average giving up 100 yards rushing.
These are two very good defenses for sure.
Now, Oregon is averaging 550 yards per game, whereas Utah's a little bit under 350. So,
see what's going to break.
Yep.
All right, move forward. Going back to the ACC. Also, Jacob didn't give me a pick for that game, so I'll get to him later. We got pretty big matchup in the ACC. This essentially might be a de facto elimination game to compete for the ACC title. We got the Dukes coming off a heartbreaker against Florida State, heading to Louisville to take on the Cardinals. Louisville's a 4-point favorite in this. Over under is 46. Money line for Duke is plus 180. Yeah, I'm messing up all these typos. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this game?
Well, my first thought is what's going to happen with Riley Leonard. Are we going to see him play again, even though he just possibly really injured his foot last week? Will they risk it, or are they going to play it safe and let their backup quarterback come in? If that's the case, if Riley Leonard plays, I think Duke has a chance. I don't think he should. If we do not see Riley this week, then I'm definitely taking Louisville. Louisville's just proven time and time again that they're ready for the competition in the ACC. Jeff Brom really seems like a good fit for that head coaching position after leaving Purdue last year. And I feel real confident that Louisville can pull this off at home against Duke. So I'm going to take Louisville to cover.
All right. Now what you, Matt?
We sit here and talk about Riley Leonard a lot. But does anybody want to take a guess on how many yards he has passing this season?
He has less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000. Anybody want to take his touchdown to interception ratio?
Like 4 or 5 to.
He has 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's very surprising to me.
But when you look at the running backs, I think both of them are close to double-digit touchdowns. He just gets them down the field, and the running game finishes them off.
Yeah, they have one running back with 9. He's their leader in rusher, but it's still he's not even 1,000 yards. I would have lost a pretty penny on that one if I would have had to guess before looking at that he doesn't have 1,000 yards. Leonard, I know we don't know what he's doing, and what this Duke offense would look like without him. I didn't finish watching the Florida State game when he got hurt. I was busy watching Clemson win. So from everything I've heard, I'm kind of worried about Duke's offense without Leonard, even though apparently he doesn't do much. So give me Plummer, who's looked very good since transferring over to Louisville. And Jabari Thrash has looked really like that number one receiver that they needed out of the transfer portal with 6 touchdowns and almost 40 receptions already. I just think Louisville's offense has got it moving. I don't know really what Duke's going to be able to do without Riley.
Well, nice. I am. But Jacob's down with Louisville to cover, and this is going to be.
I got to switch now. I have to. We can't all
is this
do
the vibes?
this.
It's the vibes of the week.
The vibes,
it's the vibes of the week.
Vibes of the week brought to you by Vaseline.
Vaseline.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what we're going to need when we get done with this, I guess. Yeah,
promo.
Of course.
I'm so glad we got to do that again.
Vibes of the week, man. Car and stuff. I watched the rest of that second half once Riley got hurt, which he was limited. He only had like 60 or 70 yards passing that game anyway. It was really the running game that was killing Florida State. The only thing that kind of could keep Duke in this game is his defense. The defense is pretty legit. They just really don't make mistakes. Play sound.
That might be the top defense in the whole conference.
Yeah,
Clemson still, but right behind Clemson.
Yeah. Well, yards and points allowed. It might be that I know Duke hasn't really faced elite offense.
Duke averages 50 yards more per game on defense given up.
Okay.
Well, you say that. Louisville only averages 2 yards more allowed than Duke does. So it's interesting. Maybe we're undervaluing this Louisville
team. I know. I say that they also lost to Pitt. So there's that. So it's like, but I think they're at home. I think they'll handle Duke coming in with their backup freshman quarterback, which could be good. But I don't know. He was like deer in the headlights coming into that Florida State game. And I think Louisville blitzes a lot when they come. So I think that pressure is going to cause them. Money is kind of even on this game, though. So I guess if you actually put like real bets on it, it'd probably be better to kind of live bet this game, kind of see how it plays out, see if Riley actually plays, kind of like what Brian was saying earlier. But even if Riley plays, if he's not able to run, that's just like it was a major dynamic for Duke's offense to be able to put points up. But we're going to carry on, guys. Go to the SEC. Kind of a big game up for the SEC. You got the Vols, Tennessee. The Vols, right? 3.5-point favorites over Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's a home dog. 51.5 is over under. Kentucky's money line is plus 152. Matt, what's your thoughts on the Wildcats and the Vols?
Their home field advantage is real for Kentucky. I think we undervalue the blue wave there. But the Kentucky passing game has been absolutely atrocious the last couple games. I think Tennessee could probably grind out a good win here. But yeah, if Kentucky had any kind of passing game, I'd feel a little bit better about Kentucky. So just give me Tennessee to cover.
Sure. Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, we talked a few weeks ago when Kentucky was still undefeated, wondering if they were going to be able to continue that. But since they played two ranked opponents in a row, they've lost both of them. And like Matt said, the passing game has not been there. Tennessee's been able to play with some of the best, at least up until Alabama last week. And I think they'll be able to continue that this week. I think Tennessee's got a lot more talent than Kentucky does. I do think that Milton is looking more secure in his role as the starting quarterback. And I think they use this opportunity to put themselves on everybody's notice. And I think they're going to pull off a solid win in Kentucky this week.
Ooh, let's go. You going money line or
I'm
cover?
talking about Tennessee. Tennessee's going to win in Kentucky this week.
Damn, man. You got everybody hype up.
No, just you.
Oh, man. Are we going to be vibing again?
We better not be. If not, Kentucky's passing game just got a lot better in my eyes.
He's the master of the flip.
Right. I'm actually going with the under on this because I don't want to put the vibes either. I think this I don't know. I could see Kentucky actually winning this outright. I just feel like this is also a big rivalry game. Two states right beside each other. Tennessee, I don't know. I can also very easily feel that Tennessee just won't show up for this game. Or Mark Stoops has a good defense plan to stop those big plays, which Tennessee has not been hitting on par compared to last year. I don't have the numbers in front of me to look, but it's a vibe check right now. I'm going with the under 51.5. Let's go. As we move to the Big Ten, massive showdown. You got the Buckeyes, number 3 team in the country, 14.5-point favorites of the Wisconsin Badgers. 45.5 is over under in this game. The money line is plus 490. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this Big Ten matchup?
Well, Ohio State finally shut me up. I definitely think they're the best team in the Big Ten right now, barring Michigan, completely collapsing under their own weight. Wisconsin's got 2 losses, one to Iowa, one to Washington State. Both those defenses have been significantly better than the rest of the teams they played against: Illinois, Purdue, Georgia Southern, etc. I don't think Wisconsin's quite got the firepower to perform against a team with a top defense, and Ohio State has shut down some of the best offenses in the country already this year, like Notre Dame and last year against Penn State. So I would expect the same out of Ohio State this week. Definitely going to take Ohio State to cover that.
All right. How about you, Matt?
As much as I want to just take Ohio State, Wisconsin's averaging 23 points a game against Power 5. Camp Randall, I think, is a huge environment for keep the Wisconsin players in it, and they're going to need everything they can get to try to stay in this game. Spread's 14.5. I think Ohio State could probably score, quicker than Wisconsin can, pretty easily with Marvin Harrison Jr. and I want to take Wisconsin so badly.
I know y'all want to.
I'm going to take Wisconsin just because I can't take Ohio State, and I think they don't win, but I definitely think they can try to find a way to cover.
Hear that, man. I think it's supposed to be one of those games going to be pretty windy. If I remember right, looking at the weather report for it. So I'm gonna go with the under.
41, so it'll be a cold game for at least for us Southerners.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the under 45.5. I don't think Ohio State is honestly should be favored more than 14 points in this game. I know Wisconsin hasn't been traditionally good, but offensively, I just haven't seen with the Buckeyes. I know Penn State was a great defense, so I can't really hold nothing against them. And I know Marvin Harrison's could take the top off on those Wisconsin DBs. But I think Luke Fickell's going to have a little game plan to kind of keep this a low-scoring game.
Yeah,
I think
called run the ball. That's what they do.
Run the ball. 21-7, I think, could be the cover, which will be pushing that 14 right under it. So I'll be like, I don't want to touch it. So give me the under. 44.5. 2 unders back-to-back. Yeah, love life on the edge.
Nick hates the offenses.
I took overs all last week. It didn't work out for me, so I'm trying the other way.
You should have taken the over this week. They'd have worked for you, but.
I go next, back to the Pac-12. Matt's favorite team. Prime time coming off a bye. I don't know if y'all seen the other night. I think in the Lakers game, Travis Hunter and
Shadir.
Damn, I'm thinking Shallow. Was at the Lakers game, dapping up LeBron. Because, it's prime time is what they do. But Colorado's been on a rough stretch, but they got had a week off, and they traveled to LA to go take on UCLA Bruins. 63 is over under in this game. Money line for Colorado's plus 585. Matt, I'm going to start off with your second favorite team. What you think on the
UCLA, second favorite team. Love their colors. Baseball teams. Oh, you're trying to be funny with Colorado. I see what you're doing there. Colorado's offensive line, both lines, offensive and defensive, have been extremely weak all season. UCLA has actually a pretty good defense. They gave up 36 points at Oregon State. They've limited their other 6 points, or opponents, to 17 points or less. Colorado can score. I just don't know if they could outscore anybody that has a decent defense. So give me UCLA to actually cover here. Actually, I'll take Colorado to cover. That 17 is a big number. Kind of scared me there.
You sure, man?
Yeah, I mean, worst case, Colorado doesn't cover 17 points, and I still win. See my South Carolina money line pick every week.
Matt's picking both sides of the coin. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
I agree with Matt. I don't think Colorado typically plays well against these teams with the better defenses. They're more built for shootout games and putting up a lot of points against opponents who are gonna throw the offense as much as they can and put up a lot of points. UCLA probably has the best defense in the Pac-12, but even though they've been able to produce on offense, I don't think they're going to be able to put away such an explosive game that Colorado has with Sanders and Hunter. So I'm going to take Colorado to cover as well. I'm tempted to take the money line, but I just don't see Chip Kelly falling prey to any trickery. The man is the king of the trick play himself.
So you prefer UCLA's defense over? Let's pick these out of these three: UCLA or Oregon's defense.
Oregon's definitely has more talent. I'd say UCLA's is probably better coached. I'd take UCLA.
Utah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saved that one for last.
I
definitely go Utah.
When going to my gut, I would go Utah, but again, Just
Very
looking
good
at
defense.
They're great defense.
Very
But just
good
looking at
defense.
UCLA's numbers, and not only that, with the scores they've been able to keep their opponents under 2, I think I'd still take UCLA.
Oh, over Utah's defense. Wow.
I think so. Utah's coming to a couple of shootouts here and there. UCLA's wins have been pretty dominant, even when the scoreboard isn't all that bright. They've really just shut opponents down defensively.
Hey, I had to throw it out there just to.
Oh man, you caught me off guard on that one.
Surprisingly good defenses. That are just really bad offenses that we think are good.
Who knows?
One of the two.
The other
way.
So we got Colorado across the board. Honestly, never thought that was going to happen. I'm not doing that. I'm not trusting y'all vibes. I'm going my own path. 3 unders in a row. Let's go. Just looking at actually UCLA's last results for the season so far. The under has cashed 5 times. A lot, 5 times in 7 games. I think that vibe is going in. I think 63. It's going to be too high of a number. I think 24-17. Could easily see this game going. Unless Travis Hunter just balls out for we lose Matt. Oh, there he goes. Add back in. That was run away. I got scared for a second.
No, phone dropped on the keypad there and decided it wanted to cut the computer off for a second. Went into hibernate.
No problem. But I'm gonna go with the under of 63. I know it's 3 unders in a row, so I'm sorry that's going to go. But
0 for 3. 1 and 12 again this week, folks.
Yeah, right.
I hope we have some of the same picks.
But like I said, 7 games, UCLA unders hit 5 times. I think that's gonna be a trend in this game, especially playing at home. Even though playing at home for UCLA is not really a crazy advantage because they never really fill out. No one shows up for the Rose Bowl games ever, mainly because they have kind of the same problem Miami has with their campus being a little too far from the stadium, especially in LA traffic. So give me the under 63. The Buffalo Bruins. I do kind of agree with you, though. I think Colorado will probably cover in this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Could be wrong, though. Coach Prime is going to be, do you believe? And our final game of the slate, we got Oregon State, number 11 team in the country, from DJU, traveling to Arizona. I even put a line on this. The line is 3, the Oregon State. 56.5 over under. Money line for Oregon State for Arizona is plus 145. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
This is typical Pac-12 football right here. Just 2 big offenses trying to outscore each other. I like what DJ Uiagalelei has been doing in Oregon State. I think it's been a good fit for him. But Arizona, man, they can throw that ball. They put that thing up in the air and they just let it fall. I don't know what's going to happen this game. I do think Oregon State has the advantage, but Arizona's pulled some shockers up against Washington State last week and taken Southern Cal to triple overtime, 2 or 3 weeks ago? So
yeah,
I'm going to take the over on this. I expect this to be a high scoring game. Very little defense at all. Just wouldn't be surprised if both quarterbacks put up over 300 yards.
Nice. Matt, what are your thoughts?
DJ's going to throw the ball for 300 yards?
I think so.
All right. Yeah, apparently that tells you how bad these Pac-12 defenses are. I don't really know what's got into these Arizona schools this last couple of weeks. It's been an interesting last couple of weeks with, Arizona destroying Washington State. Not just destroying them, keeping up with Southern Cal, barely losing to Washington, which is impressive. And then, it's hard to pick against them. Oregon State does just enough, beats UCLA by 12, Cal by 12. Utah by 14, which is crazy to think that's Utah's only loss is to Oregon State. I feel like this is a pick 'em. Give me Oregon State. I think they're a little bit more well-rounded with throwing the ball. They run the ball a little bit better than Arizona does. I just that's a tough one, so I'm going to take Oregon State here.
Nice guys, like the commodity. Arizona's matchups so far for the year. In 7 games, make sure I count this right. 7 games. The under has hit 6 times in 7 games in the Arizona game. But Nick choose for the 4th straight time a under. Will he live on the line of rooting for a team not to score? Not in this game. I'm going Arizona, though, to cover. Hey, man, they play hard over there in Tucson, man. Or wherever Arizona, Tucson, right? Yeah. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. I think they're going to get this upset over Oregon State. Watch DJU throw for 300 yards and just piss me off.
I really thought Ryan was going to have an automatic win when you were going to take the under.
Nah, I'm going to battle you and Jacob. Stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, leave my record alone. Mess with their record.
I mean, 56.5 stuff. I mean, like, most of these unders Arizona did hit. Most of them are more at like 60 or 65. 53 is kind of a low number, so I don't want to touch that. 56 is a low number.
Whatever. You can make it up like you always do. It's fine.
So I'm gonna bounce back, and go 12-1 to break 500 in the last 2 weeks.
I'll put $1 on that, so I'll be up $1 on the show.
We feeling the vibes, right? Do you have any other thoughts on any other games in the slate for this week?
So
I think we picked some of the best ones.
It's not a game, but I think it's really funny that Texas, with Quinn Ewers getting hurt, everybody automatically assumed it was going to be Arch Manning, but they've already come out and said, nah, it's going to be a Malik Murphy.
Yeah, why waste Arch Manning's red shirt this year?
This is really good.
Has he got any game time then? I don't watch him.
Yeah, he played one game in the blowout.
Yeah, that's it. He's still under his 4 games.
Yeah,
but I mean, why not give him a star? But whatever.
I think they're trying to keep Malik Murphy happy.
The hell, you can't keep him happy. He's not gonna. One of those two are gonna leave. You can't keep both in the day of the portal.
I know they did that. I don't know. We see it. Kind of wait and see.
Yeah.
For what I'm hearing, it's just that he's not ready. At least this is just going through the Texas fan groups. He just hasn't been playing like great at practice. He has throws. Malik's just more consistent, mainly because he's been in college longer, so he's just more adjusted to the college game. Ark just hasn't had that time yet. Even as a true freshman with true talent, he's still there's adjustment period. And they're probably trying to save him for the SEC coming next year. So might as well save that red shirt, even though V-ball's out. I don't think that red shirt's going to matter.
I don't understand. Nobody's going to stay. If he plays and goes performs, he's going to leave as a red shirt sophomore. Congratulations. You played yourself. Most of these quarterbacks that are worth the crap, they don't say anything more than what they have to. They're going to go make the money. Maybe Spencer Rattler should have taken that advice and left last year because he's not playing for much, unfortunately.
I do have a couple other games on throw over there. If this is for my listeners, it's kind of like a tad bit. Nevada, New Mexico, probably go with the under 50. Yeah, that's be a pretty low score game. Those are 2 of the worst offenses in the college football.
I'll take the over.
Wyoming, Boise State. Boise State hasn't really done nothing to deserve to be a 5-point favorite. So I'm going to go with Wyoming to cover in that game. Another underplay. I'm big on my unders today. Got two more underplays. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. Take that 53.5. And Purdue and Nebraska. Nebraska has no wide receivers left. They are so banged up there on that team. But I'm going to go with the under 40 in that game.
Well, we got 6-1 UNLV playing 6-1 Fresno State this week. UNLV's running a 5-game winning streak. I'm going to take the Rebels on the to cover that one at 7. And then you got Syracuse and Virginia Tech, which is probably kicking off right now.
It is. I'm looking at it right now.
And I'm going to take Syracuse to cover on that one. Syracuse or Virginia Tech's favored at 2.5, and I just don't quite see Virginia Tech pulling off some of their magic against the Orange tonight.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's 2-1 in the ACC.
I'm going to take Syracuse on that as well. I know they've only averaged 8 points a game the last 3 games, which is really crazy considering they only scored 7 against that North Carolina defense. So, with Clemson defense giving up 14 and FSU, I get both of those. The UNC defense is a little scary. Maybe I'm, overvaluing Spencer Schrader or Garrett Schrader. So, but give me Syracuse on that. And that game just kicked.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I guess that's all I got. Unless you have something more.
No, that's it. Let's go watch some football.
Yeah, let's do this.
Try to win some money this week.
It's money. It's on the positive side. At least I hope I get on the positive side.
All right. 0-13 incoming for Nick.
Right. Retire after that. I'm just going to be a producer.
If I have that 1-12 weekend, I'm never coming back. So if Nick goes 0-13, Ryan, Jacob, and myself take over the podcast.
Take over the podcast.
Yeah, you could bring us in. You can be our.
I'll bring you in and just produce behind the scenes.
You'll be the Flava Flav to our public enemy.
Happy guys.
All right.
Once again, guys, this is the Holy City High Podcast. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Also, we'll be streaming on TikTok down the road, hopefully, if I can figure that out. If you also listen to the audio version of this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please show us a love and hit like with it. For Matt and Ryan, this is boy Nappy Nick, and this is the Holy City High. Fellas, appreciate you. Thank you. Let's make some money.